Hi everyone, I am here with a Bible reading. I hope you guys are having a good day. My mom came today to visit for a while, and she brought some things from my niece and from my nephew, my oldest ones. My niece, this is the first thing that I've got for Mother's Day from any of my nieces or nephews in 21 years. This is my first thing ever getting. And she got me this beautiful card. My niece did. And this is special because if you knew her, you would know this is special because she loves pineapple. Loves pineapple. And I cannot believe she found a card like that. That's me and her. It's got to be. It's got a bookmark in it you're able to call her and take out. And it's, really cute in the inside. And I will call her that too, or have Sherm call her and I'll use it. And inside the card was the most special thing. I don't know how I held in my tears. I don't know where she got this at. My kids bark and have wagging tails. Proud dog mom. It's a tack pin. It's got a heart and it says dog mom. And if you know Sherman and Dottie, you know she's our daughter. Whether she's in here or she's in heaven, she's still our daughter. And I will wear this proudly. And on the back, if I can say it without crying, she wrote in such beautiful writing, "In memory of Dottie, I knew she'd want you to have this on Mother's Day." Means so much to me. This is from my nephew. It's an announcement. He graduated yesterday. Yesterday, Friday, yes. They didn't have a graduation. Only 4 people were allowed to go. We weren't allowed to go, of course. I wasn't able to go to Abby's either. I was at her kindergarten graduation. She lived with me then. But anyway, Jimmy graduated yesterday. And they had the parents present the diplomas to them. But luckily, Mom and I got to go to his grandma and his sister, my niece and my mom. Let's see, their class motto was by Edward Koch. "The fireworks begin today. Each diploma is a lighted match. Each one of you is a fuse." And inside, I got a graduation picture. So the oldest 2 are officially graduated and adults. All right. I just wanted to show you guys that stuff. Let's get started. Today we are going to be reading John chapter 6, verses 1 through 21. Let me know when you got that, my love. Psalm 106, verses 13 through 31. And Proverbs chapter 14, verses 32 and 33. I don't know why they've only been giving us 2 Proverbs here of late. Sometimes they'll give you like 5 or so, but they've only been giving us 2 here lately. And we will be reading in the King James Version. So let's get started here with the book of John, chapter 6. After these things, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias, and a great multitude followed him, because they saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased, like had leprosy and, all that stuff. And Jesus went up into a mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. And the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was nigh. It was getting very close, the Passover feast. When Jesus then lifted up his eyes, and saw a great company come unto him, he saith unto Philip, Whence shall we buy bread, that these may eat? And this he said to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 penny worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, saith unto him, There is a lad here, which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? Like they hadn't seen Jesus do this before. How could you forget such a thing? And Jesus said, Make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in that place. So the men sat down, in number about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were set down, and likewise of the fishes as much as they would. When they were all filled, he said unto his disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves which remained over, and about unto them that had eaten. Then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Jesus did, said, This is of truth, that prophets should come into the world. When Jesus therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone. Jesus oftentimes went alone up in the mountains, just to have alone time to talk with his Father, to talk with God, like we all should do. Take a time out of our day, each and every single one of us, whether it's taking a walk somewhere private, sitting outside on your porch alone, whether you're home alone. We should all take that time every day to talk to God one-on-one. Because it really does make a big difference. And when even was now come, his disciples went down into the sea, and entered into a ship, and went over the sea toward Capernaum. And now it was dark, and Jesus had not come to them. And the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. So when they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the sea, and drawing nigh unto the ship. And they were afraid. They thought he was a ghost. But he saith unto them, It is I. Don't be afraid. Then they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at the land whither they went. A bad storm was brewing, and they were scared that they were going to drown. Jesus went walking to them on water. They were scared to death when they seen that and thought that was he was a ghost coming towards them, because man cannot walk on water. And Jesus is like, "Don't be afraid, it is I." And they welcomed him into the boat, and then the boat was immediately on shore and safe. All right, so that is where we're going to stop with the book of John today. Now we are going to our Psalm, Psalm 106, verses 13 through 31. They soon forgat his works. They waited not for his counsel, but lusted exceedingly in the wilderness, and tempted God in the desert. And he gave them their request, but sent leanness into their soul. They envied Moses also in the camp, and Aaron, the saint of the Lord. The earth opened and swallowed up Dathan, and covered the company of Abram. And a fire was kindled in their company. The flame burned up the wicked. They made a calf in Horeb, and worshipped the molten image. Thus they changed their glory into the similitude of an ox that eateth grass. They forgot God their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses his chosen stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. Yeah, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not his word, but murmured in their tents, and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them, to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their seed also among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. They joined themselves also unto Baal, and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Thus they provoked him to anger with their inventions, and the plague brake in upon them. Then stood up Phinehas and executed judgment, and so the plague was stayed. And that was counted unto him for righteousness unto all generations forevermore. That, of course, is still talking about when God was rescuing the Hebrews from the land of Egypt when they were in the desert going to the promised land, and how they kept turning their backs on him that whole time, and how angry he got with them for doing so. That is what that was about. And we're going to stop there with that psalm, with verse 31. And now we're going to go to Proverbs chapter 14, verses 32 and 33. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death. Because the righteous knows they are going to heaven. They have hope in death. The wicked don't, because they have no hope of going to heaven. They're going to hell if they don't change their ways and turn to the Lord. So they have no hope at all in death. So they best make sure they stay alive as long as they can, right? Wisdom resteth in the heart of him that hath understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. All right, guys, that was our Bible reading. I hope it touched your hearts. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's bring those souls to Jesus. Don't forget your mothers tomorrow on Mother's Day. And I'm going to go in there and get a Bible study ready. We're in the book of 1 John today, if you'd like to join us for the Bible study. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's bring those souls to Jesus. Bye, guys.